Afternoon to you, Marty. How are you?
All good, thank you.
Excellent, good to see you. Have you been able to settle in, get a little bit of work on the training ground? Seen some pictures of you out there. Welcome to West London November weather.
Thank you so much. Actually, I'm pretty used to that weather. Scandinavia, I can tell you, was not much better. But lovely to be here. And yes, not so much time to settle, but all in for the trainings and to be with the guys as much time as we can.
I know obviously you've spoken to the club and club media, but what excites you about this particular opportunity? Because you find the side in a difficult situation.
Many things, actually. To say only one, it's difficult. But definitely the possibility to be the head coach, the manager of a club with a history of QPR, that's first. Then I know that there is quality in this squad. In my opinion, there is potential to get the results that we want. It's a very important part as well for me to experience the English football. I'm a coach that I'm very curious, that I want to learn, to develop, to get better. And I know that English football will help me to learn more about the game. And as I said, it's an exciting project from the beginning. Since the first day they called me, I think that it was a very clear idea, not only about the big challenge we have ahead of us in this first season, trying to definitely avoid relegation, to get out of the situation where we are, but looking as well in the long term to build an identity, to make sure that we have a clear idea on how we want to play, on how we want to make things on and off the pitch. So that really attracted me.
How much work are you able to do in this first couple of days before your first game, which is quite an important one really at Rotherham when you look at where the two clubs currently are situated in the Championship?
Well, I've been there in this situation before. Actually, this is my fourth time taking a team in the middle of the season, and I know that there is no time, basically. So we need to make sure that we can produce results, that we can compete well from the beginning. That's a fact. Said that, yeah, as much as I could. So it's been very too intense 3 days. And yeah, I've been trying to work as much as I could. Actually, you can notice my voice is struggling a bit. But I think we're going to be ready to compete at good level on Saturday. I have full trust on how the players welcome us and how open they are to the new ideas and to the new approach on how we want to play.
I know obviously you've been able to have a look at obviously video and whatever of previous games and recent games. What are the positive signs that you've seen, and what are the areas do you think that you can address and try and improve quickly?
You know, I don't want to compare on what has happened before my arrival here. First of all, because I'm very respectful to the job that the previous manager, Gareth, has done here. He's a club legend. And yeah, first of all, it's a football colleague, so he's a manager as I am. So in that sense, I'm not here to judge what has been done before. Obviously, I've seen the games to know and understand the players, but I don't think that it will be fair to compare. We're going to come here with trying to, as it is always with a new manager, try to give some fresh air to the players, try to give them a good opportunity to show up. And I told them from the beginning, we start from zero. So let's see how many points we can score in the next 33 games, if I'm not wrong. And then we'll see at the end of the season how this is going.
How important is it for you to get that message across to the players that whatever's happened, whatever they have or haven't contributed in the last few games, however they felt things were going, that this is a new start, even though it's starting, several games into the season. This is a fresh start. Everyone's, sort of on the same level again, where you're making those assessments as to what you want to do.
It comes naturally, I think. It's the law of football. When a manager leaves, the new one has the opportunity to change things and to give everybody a fresh start. So it's not that I had to push any special button. I was clear in the fact that everybody starts from zero. But out of that, I think that the energy that we could see in the pitch is very normal when a new manager comes in.
You obviously get asked questions about football philosophy and ideology and what you like to do. How important is it also for you to also have practicality? Because to a certain extent, results are the paramount thing in the world of football, aren't they? Because you can have the best way of wanting to do things, but you have to get results as well.
Look, it's very clear that this is a business that it's totally controlled by results. But at the same time, I think there is a lot of I don't want to say old ideas the better you play football, the better results you get over time. That's for sure. Then we could have a very long discussion, philosophical discussion, if you want, about what does it mean to play good football. I do think that it's possible to play good football in many different ways, as long as you do what you are doing, as you execute it at high level. We can see in the history of football, it can be a very good counter-attacking team. It can be a very good direct team, long balls. There are many different ways to play football. But there is a pattern, in my opinion, in the history of football. The very best are always teams that can control the game through the possession, that are attacking-minded teams, that want to attack again and again, and then, of course, have a good balance defensively. So I think that what we're going to try to build here is respecting the identity that this club had in the past, and it fits very well into the way I feel football. So hopefully here we can have an edge. Then the main thing is that we have the players to do it. I do think that Ilya Char has a player that is that kind of player, that Chris Willock is that kind of player. We have a lot of technical players with quality in the squad. So now it's my job to make this puzzle work, and let's see how far we can go. But definitely the full approach will be to try to get the results by playing good football, because this is when we can control the performances.
And how much will you learn from 90 minutes of actual football against Rotherham on Saturday, as opposed to watching video and being on the training pitch? How big for you as a learning process and as a process of where you want to take the side will Saturday's game be, whatever happens during the game?
Look, I have a fantastic staff since the first day I arrived here. They show me quality. They have been preparing a really good picture for me to understand what are the skills and what are the strengths of Rotherham. And I think that we're going to arrive there well prepared. Then I'm not in the business of trying to predict the future. It's very difficult to say how we're going to perform. But for sure, I know that there is a committed team that wants to show up, a team with a lot of players that wants to change the dynamic and that wants to perform well. So I'm pretty confident that we're going to see a team that it's very difficult to be dominant for 95 minutes, that's for sure. But I'm pretty sure that we're going to see a team that it will be brave, that they will try to play the ball on the ground, and that will try to attack and not to speculate with the game.
And for you, how important is it for footballers to feel confident to express themselves and to play football that is something that they can express their enjoyment of being a footballer? You spoke yesterday about how you loved being a footballer. Now you love coaching. How important is it for you, for your players, to have that similar love of playing and to be able to express themselves on the pitch?
Everything. It's everything. For me, as in any other job, actually, I think that we're very lucky to do what we love, what we like. But at the same time, this is a common thing in all our lives, right? It's very difficult to perform at top level if you don't love what you do. And I think in that sense, we are very lucky people. We can represent fantastic club, fantastic community, doing what we like the most. So it's my big part of my job is to make sure that this puzzle works in a way that all the players can show the qualities in the pitch. I will not force someone that is not very fast to be the fastest in the team. That doesn't make sense. So if we take that into the extreme, if we have players that are very good dribbling, my job is to feed them to make sure that they can dribble as much as we can. So this is the puzzle of coaching that is not an easy one, but we're going to try to see if we can make it work.
Right, and finally, have you had any hours off yet? Have you had any time since arriving here? Have you been able to put your feet up or enjoy the chessboard in the sort of the room that you got there to sit back and enjoy the training ground? I
had the opportunity to sleep a decent amount of hours, which is enough so far. But to be fair, I didn't have so much free time. But it will come. Looking forward to enjoy the city as well.
Brilliant. Well, best of luck. Good to see you. Best of luck on Saturday. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you.
Hi, Martí.
Hi, Ian.
Congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you so much.
Obviously, the team's not in the best position in the league, and they've lost the last 6 games. What's the mood around the squad have you inherited? Is it one lacking in confidence or very low? What's the kind of your initial thoughts on the squad you've inherited?
As I said before, I know how it is when a manager comes in the middle of the season. So the energy is totally different. So actually, the trainings we had with the lads in the pitch have been fantastic in terms of attitude, in terms of focus, in terms of energy. The mood is good. Then, of course, as you said, it's very difficult to just forget everything for these guys. They have been struggling on the last games, that's fair. and it's part of my job to make sure that we get back their self-confidence. But so far, it has been a very good approach. I'm so happy about the way they have been taking the practices and the focus and the concentration. And yeah, looking forward to get just this result, this sparkle that can change the dynamic.
The style of football you want to adopt has been discussed already, but that style of football is a style this team has played in the last sort of three and a half years under previous managers, which they've kind of gone away from under the last manager. Does that make it easier for you to come in and know that there is talented players that can play from the back, can play through the thirds?
It's one of the main reasons why I came here, actually. As I said, I have a strong belief in what this squad can do. Otherwise, if I felt that I'm so far in terms of philosophy, in terms of my way of understanding the game, on what these players can do, it will not make any sense to come here. So I definitely think that there is potential to play the game according to the way I feel. Then, of course, I need to learn more about them to see how I can get the best of all of them. But yeah, as I said, I think it fits very well what the club wants, what the players have on themselves, and what do I think that we need to do to perform well and to win games.
Okay, you have first game at Rotherham away. That's a nice baptism of fire for English football. You've got no midfielders, centre midfielders, both suspended in Colback and Dazelle. I guess that's not going to make things easy for you picking a team. But any news on players that are injured could potentially be involved? Clark Salter, Steve Cook?
Steve Cook is back. He had a good training week. Of course, we are analysing with the medical and we're going to take a decision. But so far, he has been doing well. And I think that with Clark, it's going to take a little bit more of time. So yeah, I'm calm about the possibilities we have in the midfield as well. That's true that both Jack and Dozell are important players in this squad. But yeah, as I said, there is quality enough to give the opportunity to other players that I'm sure that can perform.
And just with you mentioned Clark Salter there. I mean, is that a long term? Did I think, or just 2-3 weeks?
The details I think the medical can provide. What I know is that he's on the final stage of his return to play. Perhaps to say an exact period on when he will be back, I'm not sure about it. Hopefully he can be ready in a couple of weeks, I think, to start to train with the group and so on. But we'll see how it will progress during the next days. Okay,
and just a quick one. Obviously, there's a lot of Spanish coaches, managers in English football at the moment. You know,
there are,
particularly in the Premier League with Pep and Arteta and Andoni and Iriola and Emery. Have you come across any of these guys in your previous jobs or working or?
I think we come from very different backgrounds because actually, Mikel, Pep were top players. Unai actually was a very good player. He played in La Liga as well. In my case, I come from lower divisions. I'm a bit younger than all of them. Perhaps not than Arteta. I think Arteta might be more or less same age than me. But no, looking forward, hopefully, to meet them one day. And yeah, that's true that we have some things in common out of the nationality. But at the end, it's a proof that I think that the Spanish coaches are doing a good job around. Hopefully, I can be one of them as well.
Good stuff. Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Martí. How are you?
All good. Thanks.
Good stuff. Just a couple from me. I know from reading a bit about you that you've had some brief experience of working in England before. I know you had a brief spell at Millwall. I just wondered whether you'd be able to touch a bit more on that and how that experience of working in England if that's had an effect on your career going forward.
Yeah, I'm always trying to be very clear on when I get these questions, because when I was in Millwall, I was just trying to learn. I didn't work for the club. I was just there to analyze the trainings, just to get a good overview about the English football, about the training methodology. At that time, it was in the beginning of my career as a coach, and I was very interested to learn different training methodologies around the world, actually. So I got a good experience watching many of the trainings of the first team as well with under 23s, under 19s, and it was a big contrast compared to the way of training that I learned in Barcelona, that I've seen in other countries, and it was a very good learning experience.
What did you kind of take away in terms of like English football from that experience then?
Take away? No,
yeah.
I don't want to take away anything from English football, guys. You have a fantastic culture here. You are the ones who started the game. So I think one of the main things of football culture in England is that it's so authentic, it's so pure, and I love that. So I'm not here to change the game or try to the opposite. I will try to take things for me to try to be better. I will try to help my players as much as I can with my experience, with the knowledge I have, learning from them as well. And at the end, it's about, as we said, about trying to build a strong team that can win football games. But no, I didn't come here to change English football, please.
And then just finally, you said you've got experience of taking charge of teams midway through a season. Obviously, it's already been touched on that the club is in kind of the best position in the league at the minute. What can you take from those experiences, and how will they help you in this new role?
Yeah, obviously, I learned that when you arrive into that kind of situations, it's very important to try to turn it quick, but at the same time, to build a good identity, to build a good foundation, because it's not only about trying to win the first 3 games and not think about what's coming after. So obviously we need to find a good balance between how we can be very competitive from day one, but at the same time to build that identity in our way of playing, our foundation in how we want to do things, not only on the pitch but off the pitch, to grow as a team. And that will be the target. This is something that I learned in the 3 times I took over before, different countries, different context, but there is always one common pattern. When a team is not getting the results, obviously lacks a little bit of confidence. The only way to get back the confidence is to be very clear on the identity, the way of playing, to focus on the performance, not only on the results, and then ultimately, of course, start to win football games.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, Marty, welcome to Rangers. Great to see you. We all wish you very, very well. What has been your schedule like this week? Because you were taking in charge of a match in Scandinavia over the weekend. What's been happening since then?
Well, I can imagine that has been quite hectic. So, taking a flight early in the morning, coming to London, trying to take over the sooner the papers and all the paperwork was finished, and trying to spend as much time with the players as we could. So the focus has been to put them on training, try to implement our ideas from the beginning, and spend a lot of time as well with the staff to learn how they have been doing things here, try to share as well the way we want to do things here now. And I would say that it has been really intense.
Really good. You mentioned about the paperwork. Does that concern, there was some mention that there had to be a work permit? Is that all being sorted out now?
I think so. I think the club has been working on that, and hopefully everything is going to be all ready.
Now, the QPR supporters, they liked the photograph of you arriving at the training ground. They say you look very confident. They say you've got a swagger. They like the way you walk. How do you put that confidence onto the players? Because I think some players haven't been performing to their best and maybe need some confidence.
Look, I'm passionate about what I do. I know that probably I'm not the best coach in the world, but I know that I try to push myself to be the best coach I can be. So in that sense, I want to share that kind of feeling with all the players. I think there is a lot of potential in this squad, and sometimes, because football is how it is, when you lose some games as a player, obviously your confidence is not that high, that good. But my job is to remind them that they are very good footballers, that there is a lot of quality in this squad, and we just need to make sure that this puzzle now, we're going to try to adjust things according to the way we want to play. Again, I want to repeat that for last time, in a very respectful way to what it has been done before. I don't want to compare. I will not take any reference from what happened before this Monday. I'm just looking forward when I see those players on what I think we can build together. And that's the purpose, and that's the idea that we get, working as a team, trying to work for each other and be very, very, very good at the way we want to play, actually.
You've worked before in this country at Millwall. So what do you think of London as a city? Do you like London?
Fantastic city. I'm looking forward to experience it again. I love it.
Now, you also have a pedigree, not just for good passing football, but also for bringing young players through. So are you looking at the whole squad at QPR to see what you've got right the way through the squad at the moment?
Yeah, actually, it has been from day one of the main ideas when we discussed about the possibility to coming here. I was very clear that for me, when we need to sign new players, the first thing is that we need to look very well at what we are doing at the academy and what are the possibilities that we have there. Sometimes we need to be a little bit brave as well, to trust in the work that all the guys down in the academy are doing, as well in the young players, because it's not that easy just to expect that 17, 18, 16 years old kid will be ready to play pro football. But at the same time, I think that if we have a clear idea on how we want to play, this will make things very, very much easier at the end for the players themselves, because then they will know what we can expect from them, and they can show the qualities in a way of playing that they already can recognize. So hopefully this will not be an exception. I love to work. I've been coaching at academy level. I love to work with young players. They have the drive. And I think that we have a good mix in the squad between young talents and as well experienced players that I'm sure can help them to develop.
Now, the club have recently opened a new training ground, £20 million training ground. Do you like the facilities, and do you like Loftus Road, because it's a very traditional, old-fashioned stadium?
Definitely. I think that in some way are very different. The fact that, as you say, the training facility is brand new, fantastic, top. I think we have an amazing here possibility to grow as a club, because these training facilities are top level. And then the stadium actually was the first stadium in UK that I watched a game. That was the times that I think Flavio Briatore was at the club. Paulo Sousa was the head coach. And it was a fantastic experience. As you say, it's a very, very fantastic atmosphere in the stadium, packed. And I love the fact that it's a very traditional English style of a stadium.
Well, finally, best of luck to you from all QPR supporters. And what will it mean personally to you on Saturday if we can go to Rotherham and win that game? What would that mean to you?
To me, just a proof that there is quality in the squad. Because if we win, it's not going to be because I'm the best coach in the world, or I will not take the credit for that. I will put the credit actually on the players, on the former staff that work hard, because in 1 week, the impact that a head coach can have is very limited. So all the credit to them. I hope very much that we can win. And of course, for our supporters, hopefully many of them can join us, can travel with us, and we can celebrate after the 90 minutes, 3 points together.
Martí, thanks very much, and all the best to you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Martí. Welcome to Queen's Park Rangers. And first of all, I see your enthusiasm for the job, and you mentioned about many times about the potential in the squad. But if we just look at the table for a second, they say the table doesn't lie. And after 14 games, QPR have only scored 10 goals. In terms of the most creative players, Lyndon Dykes, 1 goal, Sinclair Armstrong, 1 goal, Elias Chair, no goals, Chris Willock, no goals, Paul Smith, Charlie Keown, Ryan Cully, yet to score. In fact, the goals for QPR have been coming from their probably 2 holding midfielders in Andre Dozzell and Jack Colback. Does that worry you when you see all those attacking players, all those wide players, some of them not even with 2 or 3 goals? When you look at Plymouth, who are up in 19th, just a few spots up in the table, they have 23 goals already scored this season. It probably shows that there's a lack, maybe of creativity or a lack of firepower up front. Is that alarming as a manager when you come in and you see those stats?
Look, first of all, I need to say that as a person, I'm usually quite optimistic. So I like to see at the bright side of things. I think, as I said, there is quality in all those players. And I will just try to say that the table never lies at the end of the season. So give us some time to work, and then we can talk at the end of the season where we have played 46 games where we are, and hopefully you can be more positive about the quality of our players.
There's obviously huge quality within Queen's Park Rangers. A year ago, they were high on top of the table. But do you think it maybe is a system change that needs to happen, and an idea that you might have might open up those sort of players? Because obviously in the previous sort of system, they were sort of fragmented in their ability to create chances and score goals.
You know, as I said, I don't want to judge what happened here in this club in the last 6, 12 months, whatever it was. I'm here just to look forward to see what we can do from this week. And what I know is that I do believe in, as I said, this combination between the tradition, the history of this club, the way of offensive attacking football that has been connected historically to this club, with the technical players. We have good quality in the squad. We have players that are good on duels, that can help us to have this balance that is needed in a league like Championship. But at the same time, I do believe in a certain way of playing football, and I will never change that one. So I will try to get the fans proud, even on the days that we cannot get the 3 points. This will be, if we can manage to arrive to this level, where even on a day that perhaps we didn't get the win, but actually we play a good game then that will be a good signal, because that means that then we're going to start to have good performances that over time will give us the results that we're looking for.
And Martí, have you got a chance to speak to some of the leaders in the dressing room, the likes of Lyndon Dykes, the likes of the creative flair of the genius on his day, Ilias Chair? Have you got to speak to those guys one-on-one? Have a maybe hear their thoughts so far in the season, and have they got to express any ideas how maybe they feel that they can be more impactful for Queen's Park Rangers going forward?
Yeah, obviously. I'm starting to have those talks with them on and off the pitch. I think there is a good group of lads, and I really like the attitude, as I said, the commitment that they are showing from the beginning. And of course, I'm looking forward to know more about them, to know them as well as a person, as a human being, and then hopefully we can build a good connection there.
Yeah, and you spoke about the academy and looking at bringing in sort of players from the academy and developing, but also you're going through a period now where you're assessing the squad between now and January. Obviously, you're building, you want to push up the table, but you're assessing who's part of the project, who you feel long-term is part of Queen's Park Rangers' future, and who you need to assess as well. When you came in to the job, did you get reassurances that if you need to bring in 4 or 5 players in January, first team players, guys that may need to go into that starting 11, that there might be a possibility to do that, whether that be loans, free agents, whatever it needs to be?
I think we are on the first stage of evaluating what we have, and my job is to get the best of all of them. And as I said, I'm very confident about the quality that we have in the squad. So I don't think that now we're in a moment to start to think about what we need to do eventually in the market, in the next market. So my full focus is to try to understand the full picture of the academy, of the development team, to see if there is some talent there that we can use, and then get the best of the players in the first squad. So it will come the time that we will finally get a proper decision if we need to go to the market or not.
And finally, a question for me, Martí. In terms of your team, if someone wants to describe what Martí's sort of team looks like on the pitch, how they play, how they sort of look, and how they flow from back to front, how would you say you like your team to operate? How would you describe your team in terms of how you like to play from back to front? What does a Martí's team look like?
No, I always say that for me there are 3 important, what I call the 3 Ps in football. So we would like to use the possession as a tool, but use the ball to move the opponent, to create the chances, to create the gaps. We will try to have a good counter-pressing or pressing when we don't have the ball, because we like to regain the ball quick, just to create chances, just to play on possession. And then the last one, and perhaps the most important, is the position. So as long as we have good positions on the pitch, then we're going to get better situations on the ball, more time to execute the actions. And this will be the foundation. So we want to be a brave team that doesn't speculate, that wants to attack, that even if we score a goal, we're going to try to chase the second one, and that we'll try to be a brave team in both phases of the game.
Well, Martí, welcome to Queen's Park Rangers and best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Martí. Nice to speak to you. Just wondered if there's any update on an assistant for you, Martí, and perhaps any other staff that you might want to bring in.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're working on it, actually. So it's definitely a commitment between, with the club about bringing in people that I know, that I have the confidence with, that is competent people that can give us, certain areas that we want to reinforce, and as well using the best of all the staff, current staff, that there is a lot of quality in them.
Do you think you might be joined by someone perhaps by the weekend or afterwards?
We'll see. We're working on it.
In England, I think it's fair to say, Martí, that managers tend to be associated with transfers, with signings more than elsewhere in Europe. That is changing, but generally in England, managers tend to be judged according to signings they make. I just wondered whether that's something that you're ready for, and what kind of role you expect to play, whether you expect to play a leading role when the time comes, or whether you're the type who would like to leave that to others and perhaps focus on coaching.
I'm definitely a manager that likes to be in the pitch. For me, to have the capacity, the possibility to work with the players in the grass and just make sure that we get along, we understand each other, that the principles, the concept of our way of playing, that I can see how we can make them better, if that makes sense. This is very important, even though, as I said before, we have a very competent staff in the organization right now. Said that, I've been working as a manager before, both in Spain and in Norway. The commitment is that I will be very, very involved in every decision when it comes to the market. And that's one of the things that as well I'm attracted about this project, the possibility to bring players that fit very well into the club identity and to the way of playing that we want to implement.
Just finally from me, I wanted to ask you about Chris Willock. I know that you would have obviously, found out some information about the players that you're inheriting. He's someone who was very influential for QPR not so long ago. He's not been involved much. I think it's fair to say that he perhaps wasn't suited to the previous manager's style of play. I just wondered whether you had any thoughts on him and whether you think there's a potential to maybe get him going again, because he seems to have stagnated a little bit in the last few months.
Yeah, it's not a secret that I like him as a player. I think he's a player that fits very well on probably what we want to achieve as a team, because he's a technical player, he can dribble. I think he has a huge potential to score even more goals that he has been scoring in the past, and he can play in several positions. So definitely, hopefully, he can be a very important player. But there are many in this squad that I think can take an important role. And at the end of the days, as I said before, everybody starts from zero. So it's a fresh opportunity for all the players to convince the new manager and to make sure that they want to take a spot in the 11 starting on Saturday.
Okay. Thanks, Martin. Good luck to you.
Thank you.